Hi, Sebastian from UHT here, and today I bring you a new tutorial, and the topic of this tutorial is the tracking of player chips. Let's check it out. So maybe you were already playing or even hosted a tournament with enough players where you had to split the players onto different tables or maybe into different rooms. And of course, it's always interesting for the players to see how the stacks of the other players develop on different tables. And for this, you can now track the chips of each player and display them inside your UHT display. To show this off, I have prepared a little tournament here. Let's go and open it up. You can see it's the default design here you can download in our design switcher. And if I check out the players, I have the usual design here with my players already ready to go. And the new thing here is that you have this toggle on the top here where you can enable tracking of chips. And if you do so, you will get an additional column here in the table where each player's chips are displayed. Of course, since the tournament has not even started yet, all the players have their starting stacks, but let's just assume here that the tournament has begun and we have some action here. Maybe Phil here lost 5,000 chips and they are now property of Kim, so she has 15,000. And you can of course go ahead and update this as often as you like or as you can. Everything else will be recalculated instantly by UHT. So even if you enter a number here that is not correct, you will see here a little triangle here, and if you click on it, UHT will tell you that the number of chips that you entered inside this configuration here does not really match the calculated total of all chips. So UHT goes ahead and checks how many chips there should be in play. So for example, we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players, so 8 starting stacks. And he tells you, okay, so there should be 80,000 chips in play, and I actually entered now 2,000 chips more than there theoretically should be, and this is what UHT tells me here. So I have now the opportunity to correct this. Let's say this player here has only 8,000 chips, so now the sum of chips is correct and this triangle disappears. And this also takes into account if you get add-ons or re-entries, everything is calculated correctly, so you have always the possibility to see if your entered values are correct. You can of course also go ahead and change the values to numbers that do not line up with UHT's internal calculation. For example, if you have some kind of promotions going or you get bonus chips for some actions or for coming early to the tournament, you can of course adjust each player's chips. So you can give this player, for example, 2,000 bonus chips. And of course, UHT will here tell you that this is not correct. But if it is okay with you and with your tournament structure, you can leave it as it is. And UHT will go along with your change and use your wrong numbers, if you will, to calculate the rest of the display. UHT will also, of course, update these chip counts if you, for example, add on. So if this player here add-ons, he will get 5,000 additional chips, like defined in my tournament configuration. Or if I remove this add-on, it will subtract this chips back out of his account here. So UHT tries to help you out here and calculate with you, but of course the updating of the chips and counting on the table is a job for your dealer. So yeah, this is of course only step one, since you only enter the values here. Of course, you want to see some of those values on your display. And how to do this, we'll have a look now. So let's go and open up our designer. And specifically for this purpose, UHT offers now a few new placeholders here. So let me go and open a placeholder dialog here. And if you search for chips, you will see these additional placeholders here. So you get a placeholder so you can know whether chip tracking was enabled by the user or not. So you can adjust your display accordingly. And you get information about the smallest stack, the biggest stack in the tournament, or the same value but converted to big blinds. So you'll get a number in big blinds or in chips. And of course, you can also get the name of the chip leader and also the name of the shortest stack in the tournament. Maybe this is useful to you, but also you get a completely new component to show off your chip stacks. So let's select this container here and remove our remaining places component here, and we go to Add Component, Player Information, and add the leaderboard display. And you can see here, this is basically the same thing, but instead of the payouts or the bounties like you used to, you get the stacks of the players displayed. Let's check out the preview here. So you can see here I have 5 players defined here in my dummy configuration for my designer, and they all have the same amount of chips. Let's go and switch it up a bit. We have our configured tournament here. You can see here the names get updated, and if we go to the preview again, you will see the updated version here. So you can see Kim is the chip leader right now with 15,000 chips or 150 big blinds, and the small stack is Phil here with only 5,000 chips. And of course, as you go through the levels, let's increase our level here. Oops. You will see that the values get updated automatically. And if we go again to the preview, you will see that the big blinds have dropped significantly here. Of course, you get a few additional options here with this component. You can, for example, define your custom title here if you like, or you can stay with the default here. You can choose which of those values here should be displayed by the component. So for example, if you don't like to see the big blinds, you can simply disable it and you will only see the chips here. Or if you don't want to see the places here, you can also get rid of those. So you only have the names with the chips, or even you can switch it up and remove the stacks but display the big blinds. The choice is yours. You can combine those however you like. So the component also offers you a few additional things you can do, like for example, you can configure how many places you want to display. Let's say you have quite a few players, like 30, 40, 50 or even more, and you don't want this list to get very long. So you have 2 options here. For option 1, you can of course configure scrolling here for this container, so the container doesn't use too much space on your design. But if you don't want to show all the players, you can always limit the amount of information that is displayed here. So for example, right now it's configured to show all the players, but I could also show only the top 5. So I can save some space and maybe only display the top players right now. So when you're done, go ahead and save your design with our updated letters here. And in a second it should be ready, so we can go back to our tournaments. Let's open up our tournament again and continue the tournament. Maybe let's switch a few levels forth. You can see here our big blinds have dropped. Our chips are still displayed for our 5 best players here. And if we go and change our stacks a few more times, so let's say Mike here lost 5,000 chips, and Phil H here gained those chips. You will see that the standings here are updated in real time. So whenever this happens, that somebody changes the chip constellation, it will be updated on all your displays, and all the players know who the one is with the big stacks at the tables. Okay, so this was basically it. One more thing I would like to add is you can see here that leaders and stack here is quite close to each other, and if you want to get some space in between here, we can go back to our designer here, and instead of using the default title, we can go and write it ourselves and just use a white space and force the system to add here some room, so I can even get a bit more space inside here, and then it will look a little bit nicer. Of course, another option is if you go back to the default here, you can always go to the borders, margins, and size options of this container here and tell it to be a little bit wider, like for example, 30%. And if we go back to our preview here, we also get now some more space here, depending on how much of the space you entered here. All right, so this was it for our new chip tracking feature. I hope you like it. Tell me in the comments what you're missing, or if you have different ideas. Of course, hit that like button to help out our channel a bit. And I guess I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.